Greeting friends, it's my pleasure to welcome you on our entrepreneurship masterclass voluntary sessions. Today we have two topics. One is incubation and funding opportunities. Second is design thinking. Friends, please allow me to introduce our distinguished guest and mentor and speaker, Mr. Manveen Chadha. He is currently working as a senior manager incubation program with FITT IIT Delhi. Previously, he worked with some of reputed incubation centers such as IIT, Mandi Catalyst, NewGen, IEDC, and KCIIL, and implemented several DST and DPIIT mighty supported schemes and raised funding of approximately 123 crores. Develop an executive strategy for onboarding startup, assisting in reviewing and innovation and startup proposal. Designing and managing incubation program, ensuring tight management of milestones and progress of startup companies. Manage the day-to-day interaction with the startup and facilitate support on various fronts, such as technical and business fundraising, industry and government connections. Also organize various trainings, mentoring sessions on different aspects of entrepreneurship. And he has conducted flagship events of IIT Mandi Catalyst, such as Himalayan Innovation Challenges and Himalayan Startup Track. He has delivered expert talk on DST, Government of India sponsored entrepreneurship awareness camps, technology-based entrepreneurship development program, women entrepreneurship development programs, entrepreneurship development program, etc., for boosting entrepreneurs culture among students and unemployed youth. So please allow me to welcome Mr. Manveen Chadha. Big round of applause for him. Over to sir.
Hi, very good evening. Thanks, Praveen sir, for introducing me. So I think if you can just tell me who all is the audience. Is it all students or any faculty members are also here?
Most of them are students and one Dr. Navneet is there. Meanwhile, more students may join. Invite.
Okay, sure. So can you just give me the rights to share screen?
Yeah, just a minute. Can you please check?
Yeah, let me check. Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yes, now it's visible.
Okay, great. So very good evening all. And I'm going to discuss about what are the funding opportunities as well as how you can start your idea by entering into the incubation and what all support you will get if you want an incubation or pre-incubation, whatever. So just wanted to know from all of you, the session will be more interactive. I don't have much to show here. We'll speak more because it's like a topic which is very generic, nothing to show in terms of numbers or something. So just want to ask all the participants, I think these sessions are going on from last 15-20 days and you already had lot of learnings before this. So any one of you can tell me what is the difference between entrepreneurship and startup? Any difference being an entrepreneur and being a startup, or it's the same thing? Anyone, whatever you want to answer.
Please unmute yourself and say something.
Yeah, you can unmute and speak, but I need answer because otherwise it will become tough for me to take session without being an interactive, because then it will feel like that I'm talking to a wall. So if you can speak any one-liner, two-liner, whatever you feel. I'm not asking you the exact answer for this. Everybody has their own answer, their own thinking. whatever you feel. Is there any difference between an entrepreneur and being a startup? I think somebody wrote in the. Okay, Vikrant is saying entrepreneurship is way and startup is outcome. Okay, great. Anybody else want to add to this? You can unmute, speak, or maybe you can drop your thoughts in the chat box.
Please come on and share your views, whatever it is.
Just wanted to know, I think there are a lot of names, Mahima, Anjali, all are live, or you have just put it on and you are working on something else?
Is it possible?
Maybe if I can ask you to show me your video
You can please switch on your videos if possible.
so that I can check whether you are there or you have just put it on. Because this is my first session where audience is not telling answer to me, because this is a very generic question. Everybody says a lot of answers. Any student, कि
Please
सर
come
startup
on.
ये होता
Please
है,
come on, share.
entrepreneur ये होता है. I used to get lot of answers in this wherever I do session for this question. कि what is the difference between entrepreneur and a startup? Anybody else wants to add to what Vikrant just mentioned?
Farooq, Neha, Sweta, what happened today?
So I think maybe you guys have got bored by listening lot of such sessions before. So just wanted to add here that, okay, I'm getting one more answer. Great. Tushar is saying entrepreneur introduce something new in the market and startup can be anything. Okay, yeah. So Tushar, the vice versa is right. Whatever you mentioned, entrepreneur introduce something new in the market. So startup is the thing where you introduce something new. An entrepreneur is something which is like maybe a traditional business. You join business, your family business, and you continue with it. But startup, because if you go to the DPIIT language and the what the generic definition of startup, so one is it should not be 10 years old and it should not have crossed 100 crore of revenue. And last but not the least, it should be something in terms of technology that which is unique, which you have added value. You have done some twist into it. There is a secret sauce into it, and now you're going to build something new. Then it is a startup. But entrepreneurship is something which anybody uh, is doing in a market. For example, कोई पान की दुकान लगा रहा है, तो he is also an entrepreneur. But he will not be able to scale up. अगर उसको स्केल अप करना है तो उसको अलग अलग जाके हर जगह जा जाके वो चीज ओपन करनी है. एंड इट्स नथिंग न्यू. एनीबडी कैन डू इट. यू, मी, Praveen sir, anybody can open that such kind of a shop. But if you are a startup, you are doing something where you are solving a pain point of a customer. You are trying to bring something on the plate which is not available in the market, and you are solving the societal problem in addition to it. So then it is something which is new, it can be patentable, and yeah, definitely then you fall into the startup category. And for that you need an incubation, because if I need to build something, there are students I have worked with earlier also. Today also we used to work with all startups, early stage, late stage, idea stage. So everybody needs funding initially in order to build some lab-based prototype, or I would say in order to take further his prototype into the next stage MVP. So funding is equally important, but it's not a major factor to start your journey. So I will start with few things related to how to enter into the incubation. So for entering into the incubation, you need something which is called how to generate ideas for the startup. So one thing is how you are going to generate. So then there are two different things into it. In addition to it, your idea can be your own, or maybe you're trying to solve something new. So as I mentioned, maybe the idea already exists. There are products which already exist in the market, but there are products which maybe people have done a lot of research, and after that they come up with the unique solution of that. So it can be both ways, either the existing product and you're trying to add some new value into it, some new features into it. For example, there is Ola Uber. Ola Uber was there, but still Blue Smart enter into the market. Similarly, there are products which can solve a lot of pain point of a customer, but they don't exist. So you are coming up with a unique product that doesn't exist in the market. So both ways you can start thinking of how to generate an idea. So moving ahead, I will just tell you how people start or how we do exercise with the students so that they can start thinking of something new. So idea can fall into two category, either a vitamin or a painkiller. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So your idea can also fall into two different categories. I mentioned here vitamin and painkiller. Why I'm saying this, some ideas are like nice to have. So, for example, a fitness smartwatch or a fitness bands. So, this is something which you should not, you can use it. It's not a mandate kind of thing. If I will not use a smartwatch or a fit band, I will not able to do my daily works or I will not be able to survive. I can still do my all works, but it's an addition to something where I will get lot of added value, lot of parameters I will come to know. I can track them live related to my health, and it adds value into it. So vitamins is something which you take in your daily life or sometime because maybe you're lagging something and you want it so that you can improve on that parameters. So that's why fitness band, smartwatch fall into these categories. This is just an example. Similarly, you can think about your idea or any other product. So according to me, I think painkiller fall, Google Map falls under the painkiller. So painkiller we take when we have a lot of pain, we can't resist, we can't work, we can't concentrate. So we want to have a painkiller so that pain gets down. So I think Google Map is one thing where still people in metros, even now I'm seeing in smaller cities, tier 2, tier 3, whenever we are traveling anywhere from A point to B point, still if I'm going to same place from my home to office, but daily I will open Google Map. Why? Because I want to have a live tracking. I want to know if there is some traffic in my daily way so that I can take a different route. So it's a kind of something which, according to me, falls under a painkiller. Maybe I'm wrong. You might have some other suggestions or your thoughts that no, sir, according to me, Google Map is a vitamin, it's not a painkiller. So it depends upon person to person, but I think Google Map is something which everybody wants. If I'm moving from either to new place or even if I'm daily moving in the same route, still I will open a Google Map. Similarly, we tell startups or students whenever you are trying to build something, always look for con- quality part initially, don't run after the quantity part. So that is important because initially you are not in a hurry to get or sell your product to larger amount of audience. It's like initially you want to have a testing, you want to do a pilot testing, you want to do take feedback as much as possible and then do lot of iterations into it, and then maybe you are going to scale up. So quality matters initially, quantity comes after once you reach to the stage. So in order to generate ideas, there is a technique called scamper technique. I don't know how many of you have heard of this. Maybe if somebody is in BBA, MBA, they might have learned this scamper technique in their any of the courses. So scamper stands for S for substitute, C for combine, A for adapt, M for modify, P for put to other use, E for eliminate, and R for rearrange. So this technique helps you to understand, work in a group, and try to come up with a new product. So I am telling you an example of a water bottle. So initially, we all know that there was a simple Bisleri water bottle many years back, simple plastic water bottle that we all used to have. So if you apply scamper into this and then you start thinking, what can be the substitute? Don't think from the current products which are available in the market, but think from the point of view when there was only a plastic water bottle. There was nothing else. Now we have different copper, steel, different variety. So if you apply this camper into the water bottle, then substitute comes with the different things. So substitute is steel bottle, ceramic water bottle, copper water bottle. Similarly, if you talk about C stands for combine. So what all you can combine with the plain plastic water bottle. So now we have a kit section where I can do lot of changes in the water bottle to make it more attractive to the kids. Or I can use handle into it. Or I can have a water bottle which I can fix in my cycle. So lot of stuff which can fit into my bag. So then somebody thought of to apply scamper and think about modifying how I can modify it. So it can be a foldable water bottle. So once your water is over, you can fold it, squeeze it, and keep it in your bag. It will not take much place. So this is how the different design teams start thinking about the product. This is one just example that I'm telling you. Okay, rearrange. So if I am not wrong, initially there was the water bottle which we used to open from the top. Now somebody thought of how to wash it. We used to take a brush, put inside, and then roll it and see whether it get properly cleaned or not. But then somebody thought of we can have a double-sided open and close. So rearrange, reverse, two-way opening bottle so that we can clean it easily. So this is how design thinking teams of organization think about, do lot of iterations, take feedback from the customer at every point, and then come up with the final product. This takes a lot of time. But unless and until you do all these things, you will not be able to get a good results. If you just go directly to the market with the product without taking feedback, without understanding the pain point of customer, you will not be able to achieve much. So this applies to your idea, your product, any product. And you can think about that how we can work on by using this scamper technology. Similarly, I just want to tell you two, three more scamper where people have used. So roll-on deodorant, there are a lot of, I think, kids, college going student who use roll-on deodorant. This idea was adopted from the ballpoint pen. Then McDonald's started the chain. So before McDonald's, the restaurant, we used to sit in the restaurant, eat the food, and then pay the bill in the last. But McDonald's rearranged this. They've asked customer to first pay and then eat. So this is how trend change. So it's all about whether you have done lot of such studies before with your customer, understand them, and this is how scamper people use. So scamper is a very important technique which comes under the creative thinking. So before design thinking, there is a creative thinking, and that is applied in order to start working on your idea. And this why I'm telling you, because even there are participants who don't have any idea, let's say today, but they can start thinking about how to generate ideas. There are a lot of problems in the society. You can start working on that and try to use Camper so that you can build some new product out of this. It can be anything. So some of the creative product I'm going to show you. This is a product which is available in the market. So at a time you can put water into the two places. Similarly, there are some other products. I think you might have seen this in a lot of images, WhatsApp and all. People have shared that this is how in metro cities, due to crunch of space, this is how we can think of utilizing this space. So at the same time, you are preparing a tea and also working on the toaster part. So it's a combined. You can do both things together. Why to do two things separately? This is a where you can put biscuits inside the glass. You don't have to use the separate plate for it. So these are some of the example. Now I will just tell you something related to the what about other than product innovation. So product is something which everybody want. Unless and until you have idea, you then convert it into prototype, you build some product, and you complete your product development cycle. Once you have a product, then you are ready to sell it into the market. Now what next? So after that, you have to acquire market, you have to understand the ecosystem. In whatever area you are selling, you have to understand the overall synergies, what is there. So similarly, this comes after the product development. But before jumping into this, just wanted to know one question from all of you. Can selling price of any material is can it below the cost of material? Is it possible? Yes or no? I think in this I can get all answers, or you need to think a lot of this. No. Okay. Anybody else? Hmm. Okay, somebody saying yes. So LA, can you unmute yourself and tell me why you are saying yes to this? Somebody just said yes.
Hi, good evening. My guess is data. For example, in India, we get it quite cheap, but in other places, it's quite expensive, perhaps.
Okay. So I'm saying that is it possible that the selling price, uh, if I'm selling that data to somebody, whatever data, let's say Airtel, Jio, they are selling this packages, can it be below at whatever costing to them? Let's say it costing to them 10 rupees. Can they sell it at 8 rupees? This is my question. I know that once it's like a, let's say I'm building something and then I have to replicate it. So let's say Jio have created all their network, but they have put a lot of cost into it before launching, lot of asset and all that in order to establish that fiber network and all. But now in order to get this cost and come at a point and then start taking profit. So is it possible for them to sell anything which will be below the cost of the material? Is it possible? Can they do such thing? It might be possible, but just wanted to know your thoughts on this, how it is possible. So LA, if you can unmute, I am not able to get that what you mentioned about the data clearly.
Yes, sir, my sense was perhaps to get the initial market share, they might go for a strategy where they
Sure.
sell it at a price less than the
Right.
cost of
Right.
material.
Right. Definitely. But I think that is possible. You are correct. The companies are doing such things. Zomato, all that you can see, even maybe Geo and all that they started, but put in their lot of money because they have that backup. But I'm saying in terms of startup, if I ask you that the purchase of some material is 200 rupees and you have to sell it at 150 rupees, will it be possible for you? Because you are a startup, you don't have so much of money with you. Then how can it be possible?
I think that may not be possible.
That not be possible. Anybody else here who say that yes? Okay, so I think all of you say that it's no. Now just wanted to know answers of 32 participants on this question. Just tell me your thoughts on some cool innovative product that you have seen or you're using it, which is available in the, let's say, Indian market. If I'm not go outside, let's say in the Indian market, whatever products you are seeing in your daily life, or maybe you're using it. So what innovative cool stuff you will say ki, because let's say somebody say that Alexa is the very cool stuff, innovative stuff for me. Similarly, what your thoughts, each one of you, according to you? Need answers from each one of you.
Friends, please share your thoughts. You can type or you can unmute and share your thoughts.
Foldable cutlery. Okay, great. Anybody else? I think everybody has something unique in their mind, and I think it's a question which you can easily answer. Nothing to do with entrepreneurship here. You all can answer this. You all might be using different products, or you have seen it somewhere in the market, but you have not used it. But you think that this is a cool, innovative stuff. Edible spoons. Okay. Anybody else? Siri. Nishikant Kumar. Can you explain this to me? I'm not able to get this. What is Siri? Nishikant, if you can unmute.
Sir, it's a Siri of Apple which assists us.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. Anybody else? Google Lens, Jaideep. Great. Anyone else? Only 4 answers here. 35 participants. What about others? Cloud computing, Vikrant. Okay, great. Anybody else? Google Lens, cloud computing. Table cutlery. Any other answers? Anjali wants to add something. Yep. Sand battery, great. Anybody else wants to add something, or we can move forward? See, you can put your thoughts. It's a time. Nobody asks you such questions, I think. Such waste of questions. I'm asking you just to know, understand what your thought process is. Anyone else want to add something, or we can move forward?
Mahima, Shivangi, Tushar,
Renewable
anyone else?
energy. Okay. Nowadays we are looking for renewable energy, right? I just wanted to know product. Don't go deep into technology. Tech wise, then it will become very deep. Only the product, which maybe you have using it. Tesla cars. Okay, great. Anybody else? So I think we got a lot of answers. So if you see whatever body scan, so see body scanners, Tesla, sand battery, you will see everybody, we are always into deep tech. We always think about that it should be something tech, otherwise it is not something cool, innovative stuff. So this is the mindset which we have. So I just wanted to tell you a short story. I hope you all know this rivets. You all have seen this fan blade. Everybody has fan in their houses, and you can have seen this rivets. So just wanted to tell you a short story about a startup. So there was one company in 90s in Mumbai which come up with this automatic riveting machine. So initially in 90s there was a trend that we used to do this manual assembling of all the parts of a fan. So that needs 3-4 labor, 3-4 people that you will be requiring in order to assemble this. So one company thought of that, why should I come up with the automatic riveting machine, so that it will be only a single manpower that will require, and everything machine will do, and also my production will increase, and my assembly line will also get more faster. So and they build this automatic riveting machine. And why he do all this research, why he did and develop this automatic riveting machine, because there was one vendor who used to sell utensils to the export basically. So there was one client in Dubai who used to take around orders of 50-55 lakh at that time, 90s. And they used to do this, they want this automatic riveting machine because it was a huge supply of fry pans and other utensils. And if you have seen in all fry pans, cooker, this rivet part is used. You will see this. So they want that you give us this 8 to 10 machines every year, because we have a lot of huge order from that client and we have to fulfill that. So we need this machines every year. So it was like a good business for him and a good client in hand. They did this for 8 to 10 years in the same fashion, seeing that there is no competition. I'm the only one who is supplying this automatic riveting machine. And the utensil manufacturer was also very happy seeing that I'm getting a big order. So in early 2000, suddenly after 9 to 10 years, some startup, I would say startup because I hope I'm audible.
Yes, yes, sir.
Am I audible? Okay. So I'm calling it a startup because he was there was no family business history. He thought of just coming into it, into a business side. And in early 2000, suddenly this automatic riveting machine manufacturer, he didn't get this order. And he was shocked that why I didn't get this order. He went to that utensil manufacturer and asked him, what is the problem? Is my machine is not proper or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So they said, no, everything is fine. We don't have any problem. But the problem is we didn't get this order this year. So it was a sudden shock because a book which is with a heavy customer, 50-55 lakh, and they were totally dependent on them. And suddenly that customer is saying that we are not giving you this order. So they did lot of research, found out that why they have not given us this order this time and who has taken this order. So they found that there is one startup in Delhi who is fulfilling this order, which was they were fulfilling it at a cost of 50-55 lakh in 35 lakhs. And they were shocked ki why they are taking 20 lakh of loss. So even if it is not pure 20 lakh loss, still one piece was costing them around 138, 140 rupees, and they were selling it at 200 rupees. And when they calculated and found that 35 lakhs fulfilling this order, so per piece cost is 130 or 140 rupees. And if we found that giving this much of order to the Dubai customer, the per piece cost will come out around 120, 125. So why he's taking 15, 20 rupees loss per unit? And they also checked that the product that he's going to deliver is as per the quality, as per the standard, durability, everything was up to the date. And they were not able to find out that why he's taking this 20-25 lakh of loss. And then after a lot of research, what they found that there was a duty drawback policy of government. And according to that, if I'm exporting something which is around, let's say whatever, 35 lakhs, 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs, the same amount of anything I can import. So I can import any other product from outside of same 40 lakhs, 35 lakhs, and I can sell it in India. So this startup, what he did, he take this 20 lakh loss, but he imports something which has a market in India, and he already got 2-3 customers for that product, and he was selling it at a 3x cost. So let's say if he is uh, fulfilling the order of 35 lakhs and importing some product of 35 lakhs, so he was giving it at 105 something, 3x, 100 crore, let's say. So this is how you can say that 35 lakhs, they are giving it at 1 CR or 1.05 CR and making a profit of around 70 lakhs and taking a loss of 20 lakhs. So still he's in a profit of 50 lakhs overall. So this why I explained you that here comes this answer of this, can selling price be the below of cost of material? So it is possible, but you have to be smart enough, understand the ecosystem, and try. So this is the summary point that I want to tell you. One is you have to understand the overall ecosystem, keep tweaking your business model because ecosystem is changing very fast, technology is changing very fast, and don't depend on just one customer. If it is a big order, don't feel that if I'm getting an order of from somebody who is giving me 1 CR every year, so why should I care about the customers or the clients who are giving me an order of 10 lakh, 5 lakh? All customers are important. Don't populate your book with only one customer. So this is all I want to tell you about the first part. And now the incubation offering is, so whenever you come up with any idea, so any incubator first understand what is the problem statement, what is the solution you are telling, and what is the technology behind that. After understanding this, the team will ask you definitely, let's say, do you think that your technology, whatever you're building, your solution, it can be patentable? Yes or no? Even if it is no, then how you think that you are way ahead of your competitor? What are unique offerings you are going to give here so that you can compete with your existing customers, existing client or whatever, existing organizations who are already serving. So you need to tell feature wise maybe or some unique part so that incubator feels that yes, if we support them, then definitely they are going to scale up going forward and customer is going to take their product. So these are few points which every incubator look for in the initial stage, at a very early stage. Try to understand your idea, your solution, the technology, and also the competition wise, how you think that you are way ahead and where is your market. So you should have all this clarity in your mind before entering into any incubator, because they will ask these questions. And also incubator look different things, what technology help you want, what business support you want, let's say maybe a startup wants some lab XYZ. If any incubator don't have such facilities, so most of the times incubator deny that we can't support you because we don't have this lab facilities. So it also depends upon incubator to incubator. What offerings they can give you space, co-work space, so that you can have Wi-Fi, electricity, all that. You can sit, your team can sit, you can work together. Okay, internet is available 24/7, lab can be accessed. Then time to time you need technical mentoring, they can connect you with technical mentors, business mentors, and they will help you at every point of time how to develop your pitch, how to develop your business plan, how to build team. So which is the biggest challenge every startup face. And then how to go ahead with the IP part, any legal, if you want to form private limited. And then in between funding, grant, whatever is available, they will ask you to apply. It all depends upon committee decision whether they shortlist you or not. So all these support you will get in the incubator side. And also there is a selection. So I already told you that what all incubator look for. So which is, I have mentioned here few points which I've already discussed with you, that these are some of the points which incubator looks for. Now in terms of schemes, there are different schemes. If you are on hardware, there is Nidhi Prayas by DST, Department of Science and Technology, which give grant of up to 10 lakh, which is in hardware. If you say in terms of electronics, there is Ministry of Electronics, EIR, Entrepreneur in Residence, and also METI grant up to 4 lakh and 7 lakh. So these 3-4 schemes are grant. Then there is some schemes by MSME. We are not focused into MSME here, so I don't have much knowledge about MSME schemes. You can Google it and maybe some other expert can help you out in that. I don't work in the MSME area, and so I don't have much idea about these schemes. So DST, Ministry of Electronics, then there is a, I hope you all are aware now, there is an defense IDEX. So defense also come up with the new challenges every year. They, you can go to the Ministry of Defense website and you will see a lot of this year they have thrown 35 challenges. So if as an individual, as a startup, as an MSME, if you have solution for that, apply in their program and get funding of up to 1.5 CR. That is also a grant. So these are some schemes which comes under grant. Then if you scale up, then there is further top up to that, which is not grant, maybe debt or equity. So there are different schemes then again, either by DST, Nidhi Triple S, either by Ministry of Electronics, Samrid Accelerator. Then there are some programs by corporates which they give in terms of seed support, accelerator support, scale up support. So like this, there is a list of schemes, but every scheme wants some concrete outcome of that. It's not like that if you're giving you 5 lakhs, so we will give you on one go. There will be milestone set up. We will sit with you every quarterly. We will see whether you are progressing as per the milestone or not. If there is a challenge, do you want to pivot? Do you want to quit? So all that. So tranches, in tranches, every incubator will give you that funding and all. So like this, likewise, there are different, some more schemes. If I start telling you, it will take 3 hours. But yeah, there are more schemes, but grants are less. And going forward, there are investors who come into your, let's say, join with you if you are scaling well, if your product is validated and you are ready to go ahead. So investors are ready to put money and they will take you up to the next stage, definitely. So I think I will stop here. And if you have any questions, happy to answer them.
Friends, please type your question in chat box or unmute, and you may ask the question after. Meanwhile, please guide me. What is the DPIIT? DPIIT. What is the benefit of this scheme?
So DPIIT is like every startup take DPIIT registration number. So in some of these schemes, or maybe I would say at some point of time, there are like mandate where people see that whether you have a DPIIT registration number or not. As such benefit, I will not say, but yeah, in terms of if somebody is looking for grant, maybe in some of the scheme, they will say whether you have a DPIIT registration or not. So DPIT is something which they have separate form where they ask few questions to you. You can register there. Their team will see whether there is something, as I asked you in the initial stage, whether it's a startup or entrepreneur business. So there they see what is the technology that you are working on, how it is unique. Have you developed any lab-based prototype? Then only they are going to issue you the DPIT registration number. Otherwise, if you will say कि मैं grocery shop खोल रहा हूँ तो वो DPIT registration number नहीं देंगे आपको. You are not a startup. So that's why DPIT is required. For example, in Startup India Seed Fund Scheme, SISFS is one more scheme. In that, DPIT registration is mandate. Without DPIT registration, you can't apply to that scheme.
You also said that the DPIT is required up to 10 years or up to 10 crores, right? Suppose I am the startup and after 9 years, I want to go to register for this. So may I go, right? After 9
Sorry,
years. After 9
after
years,
9 years?
I can apply because it's 10 years are allowed.
Yeah, you can apply. If your firm has not completed 10 years, then you will be under the category of startup and you can apply.
So what are the benefits under this? We will get the benefit of taxation or what are the other type of things? Can you please?
So benefit is like in terms of taxation and all, if you are whatever revenue you are generating, profit you are generating, it will get tax free. So that's why it's up to 100 CR. Now they have increased that if 100 CR is crossed, then you are not under the startup guidelines. Then you are not a startup. So taxation and all that benefit you get while filing your tax for the company and all that. So that's why it's required.
It means as soon as startup cross this limit, so they're out of this scheme, right?
Sorry?
As soon as startups come across this limit and crores.
Yeah, then they are
They're
not
out of.
eligible. So in SISFS, Startup India Seed Fund Scheme, there are other guidelines also. If you're a 2-year-old startup, for example, you registered in 2019 and now it's 2022. So you're not allowed to apply for Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. It should not be 2-year older. So there are different guidelines depending upon scheme to scheme, but you are a startup. But in Startup India Seed Fund Scheme, you can't apply. I think there is one question. Can you please explain more about Bootstrap? Bootstrap is where you are putting your own money or your friend's family money. You're not raising money till now from the investor. Even you have not taken any grant or equity fund from any of the government funds or private funds. So Bootstrap is where I am using my own money. I have not used anybody else's money. Those startups are called Bootstrap startups. I hope I answer your query, Jaideep.
Allow me to ask one more question. Do you have any virtual incubation? What is the difference between the virtual or physical incubation for the benefit of the participants?
Yeah, we have virtual incubation. So in virtual incubation, I will say there is no such benefit. So incubator will just onboard you and they will support. So it's like if we are not meeting you daily physically, we are not sitting together, understanding what are your issues. And in virtual, most of the startups, we have seen that they just hit you once they need money. They will say कि सर कोई फंड है तो बता दो या मेरी फंडिंग रुकी है सर दे दो. तो virtual incubation people take if let's say they are sitting somewhere far and they don't have any incubator nearby to them, then they require that virtual incubation. And also it depends upon incubator to incubator. Initially due to COVID everybody allows and it was a mandate by government also कि virtual incubation आपको देना है. But now people are not offering virtual incubation. अब हर एक कोई चाहता है कि आप physical आओ. So virtual incubation advantage, I would say not as much. You will get an incubation for the namesake. But yeah, disadvantage may be a lot because you're not going to learn much. Because once you sit in this ecosystem, then it's not only the guidance that you get from the expert, but the other startup sitting over here. Maybe you will get a co-founder sitting here. So this all value add you will get if you do a physical incubation.
Suppose I have very one idea and I have not done any feasibility study, right? So such idea-based startups can apply, or they should do some work, then they should apply.
So I've seen that there are incubation center who will allow you to incubate in terms of idea. but then it's still, I'm not sure whether they will give some grant for that. If it's an only idea, simple idea, there should be something validation for that. Either a lab-based something you have built up. If it's an hardware, if it's a software, then app-wise you have to show something, some UI UX design, how it's going to work. Just an idea now, incubators avoid unless and until it's something which is very unique. Definitely, they will onboard you, and also it depends upon the execution team how strong it is in terms of technically implementation part. So because it's like incubation at time of ideation can only judge team because you don't have anything else to show. So on the basis of team, incubators incubate and provide support, but it depends upon what is your idea.
Right. Shweta is asking, do incubators provide funding?
Yeah, incubators provide funding. Different incubators have different schemes. It can be grant, it can be equity, it can be debt, depending upon what is their model. Incubators provide funding and at different stages.
Friends, if you have any question, please raise your hand. You may ask the question. Manoj, you very well share about the one example of vitamin and pain pillar. You share very too about what about all doubts of the participants. So if there is a no question, is there any question from participants?
Do incubators take equity? Yeah, incubators take equity. Now it depends from incubator to incubator. So for example, in FITT, if any startup is coming, and you have to pitch to the committee. First of all, we only focus on deep tech startups. We don't entertain much only idea based startup. There should be some lab based prototype, and so that you can validate your product to the committee. And we take 5%, we take 5% equity for the incubation, where in the initial stage we don't promising you any funding, but equity is for the whatever other services we are giving you other than funding, the value add, the lab, the business technical mentoring and all stuff. So for that we take equity, and once you on come and join as an in the incubation center as a startup, then we will start working with you, and in between during the journey whenever any scheme comes. So it depends, because maybe you're applying tomorrow, I don't have any scheme right now, so from where I will give you some funding. So if any scheme comes, so from time to time we will give priority to our incubation teams because they are incubated, and you can apply there. If committee shortlist you, then definitely you will get funding, either it's grant or equity or debt. So there are incubators who maybe in the initial stage they don't take any equity, they will incubate you, and I'm not sure whatever is there. So it depends upon incubation center to incubation center, whatever model they are following. But yeah, incubators take equity, either funding, mentoring, whatever.
Okay. So in the end, I would like to thank Mr. Manveen Chadha for sharing your precious and valuable thoughts on this topic. So big round of applause.
No, thank you, sir. Thank you, all the audience. And,
Thank you, sir.
so thank you all. And if anybody needs any guidance going forward, Praveen sir can share my number. Happy to help you anytime. Thank you all. I hope I added some value. But yeah.
Really, you have shared
Okay.
a lot
Thank
of
you.
value.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for my participants. We will wait for 5 minutes for next session. Dr. Panja will take on design thinking. So till then, we will take a 5 minutes break. Good evening, friends. So once again, allow me to welcome Dr. Pranjal Kumar. Today he is going to take the session on design thinking. So please allow me to share brief profile of Dr. Pranjal. He is an internationally and nationally acclaimed industrial professional and academic. He is the BTech production engineer and doctor in business administration from Swiss School of Business and Management. Geneva. He has more than 26 years of experience in industry and academy across India and overseas. He has extensively did his action research work on leadership decision-making style, regenerative supply chain, green energy, business analytics, environmental vulnerability, and risk mitigation, and advanced technology. So let's welcome Dr. Pranjal Kumar. Big round of applause for him also. Over to Dr. Sir. Over to you.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Today I will be discussing on design thinking, but I will keep my video off now because net is very slow here. So after my completion of the this presentation, then I will be keeping my video on for any question answer session. So let me first start with sharing my screen. So this is the screen using design thinking to build innovative solutions for startups. It is just a very design thinking approach is just you can say a drop in the ocean of innovation and entrepreneurial mindset ecosystem. So it's a very small section as I'm touching upon. So that's the reason I have put my WhatsApp number on chat. So for any more information on any of the areas of ecosystem, you can discuss with me with the problem of your startups, any issues you are facing, or if you're not have started the startup process, then what are the basic requirements. So first of all, design thinking, if you say it is based on the scientific approach. So obviously when we are calling for scientific approach, that it has to be systematic, it has to be structured. So it is also a structured process, and this was developed basically to address the wicked problems. The problems are called wicked because these are the problems which has no values, value addition to it. If you're going for the solutions, it kills time, it kills the motivation and many other things. And basically design thinking is we are handling this process for in a you can say making into big problems into small problems, so that the complex problems can be studied in minute details and can be used for processes, technology, policies. It basically, as we are just discussing on the innovation ecosystem, so design thinking comes into picture when we speak of anything, when we are handling through innovations. And it also reduces the risk because, as I said, we are using sprint cycle. It means we are breaking down the large method of process into small processes, and thereby we also reduced our time to find out the solutions, and later on we can collectively make an approach for the bigger problem by summing up all the solutions of the problem which are being disintegrated. So now comes what are the principles. As I said, this is a structured process. So it always focus on users, like we use steps and methods that are predefined, like 5 pillars are there. One is called empathy, human centric, and we can use power in the whole process. We are not using for the individual steps, because later on, as I said, we are summing up all the individual processes to a bigger picture to understand the whole problem at one go. It is a scientific methods. So we need the hypothesis. So that's the reason for ideation process. We hypothesize, test it, and then only we come into a situation called proof of concept. Then it also uses diverse teams where we are using the roles to maximize the knowledge, its perspectives, its connections, and it focus on the demographic diversity, not as a critical. History behind this user-centered design has been around for a long time. So it was called as user-centered design, which is basically for the usability testing, focus groups, observations. Then several organizations globally operationalized UCD into a more structured process like IDEO, Stanford, and among others, and in 80s and early 90s. Although foundational work was made on this activity or called design thinking. So what is design thinking? It is for the different organizations basically, but they all follows the stages which I still told you 5 stages. So from Stanford point of view, first one is empathize, which means we are connecting with and understanding the users through persona. Then second step is define, where you are identifying or reframing the core problems. Then comes the ideations, where we go for the brainstorming, lots of ideas, which normally starts in pre-incubation centers. Prototyping also starts in pre-incubation centers, also can be part of incubation, and testing so that we can support the decision making, and primarily we can also call as POC, which can be a part of pre-incubation and incubation both. This is Stanford design thinking process, which starts with empathy, define, ideate, prototype, test. But if you see the arrows, it is not sequential. So like you can go from design, define, ideate, prototype, and testing. From testing, we can again go back to prototyping. Prototyping, we can again go back to ideations. From testing also, we can go directly back to ideations. From testing also, we can directly go back to define. From prototyping, we go to define. So this is a basically two-way communications between all 5 steps. There's another approach also, like what is, what if, what was, what works. So that also we can work. It's part of that cycle called design thinking. Benefits are many, but I'm just putting few of the benefits. Like it is a formal process which is based on the structure based scientifically, because it provides a strategy to those individual or group of individuals or organizations who are new to this approach, and it supports collaboration among team members in any industries, big or small. It is a data-driven decision-making process which aligns teams, member thinking. Other benefits I like early focus on understanding the users. That's the reason we use the pillar called empathy, human-centric. It allows teams to agree on the mission early. Early means before launch of the product and process. It also provides a strong basis for later steps, means continual approach. It is an experimental approach of presenting ideas using hypotheses, so it reduces the risk and cost of failure, which is very important for startups. It reduces cognitive biases, so there is no biases or prejudice option system going on in between the team members. It also allows for the easier acceptance of failures. Then for the diverse teams are better able to pivot because they have a thorough understanding of the users, and the diversity also provides the breadth of knowledge and context which are needed. But then comes the what are the possible risks of using design thinking approach, because all any approach, any process, any system always has pros and cons. So we have discussed the benefit. Now we should discuss about the possible risk. First is research has been done primarily with successful projects. So whatever design thinking approach came into picture, basically we have been done or we have been basically tested on the successful projects. It was more or less less connected to these situations where the success rate is very low. And diverse team can also lead to disagreements, though we are using a scientific approach, but it may also lead to some disagreements later. It happens. And third is it focus on testing everything that may delay the whole decision-making approach, though we are using short cycles, sprint cycles, but still it has some elements of delay, but not much as it was earlier in other approaches where we can call like waterfall and all these things. So finally, summary is like because pre-incubation, incubation, and startup activities through mentoring and coaching uses the design thinking approach. So summary is if you can use this approach in any company, in any company, small, big, or large, then it can lead to more innovative solutions for the customers, which is very much required in the present situations, or we call new normal, where the situation is very dynamic, and it's also termed as VUCA. So, which will help to meet the users' needs. It also improves the collaboration between the stakeholders, partners, among the team members, and also with other organizations with whom we are collaborating. And this method basically is with low risk and low cost, and cost of failure is also very low, though failures are obviously has to be there, but the cost of failure is lower than as compared to the other means other thinking processes or system thinking approaches. So with this I am closing the presentation. 1 minute. Presentation. Where is the slide? And I've stopped sharing the screen. So now I am open for any questions if you have in your mind. Like design thinking is not only for the entrepreneurs or startup, but is also for those who are into industries as professionals who are working. They can also use this methodology for solving the problems at their workplace. If they are the project managers, or if they are suppose maintenance engineers, or if they are working in accounting department as a accountant, or if they are working with some HR department as a HR professional, they can use this methodology to solve their day-to-day work issues, work problems. Apart from that, this has been also been used by the defense, used by the precision equipment making industries, and also with the industries who are engaged in FMCG products, where they are dealing on a regular basis with the customers or the stakeholders. So it is a very diverse subject, and it can be used anywhere as per your requirements. So basic thing I have explained. Now how to do this, we need to understand through case studies. So that's the reason I have put my WhatsApp number. If you need any support on any problem, if you have a problem statement, you can share with me. Then I can discuss with you like how to approach that problem statement using design thinking approach or design thinking methodologies. So if anyone have any query on the subject, you may just write on chat box, or you can speak out.
Sir, during your presentation, you share, risks during this designing. So you share the diverse team can lead to disagreement and testing may delay. So waterfall methodology can work. So can you please guide what is the waterfall?
Waterfall and design thinking difference is very simple. Waterfall means you have to wait for that event to occur After that only you can evaluate why that happened. Okay. But in case of design thinking, you do not have to wait for the whole process to go or proceed. You can break down that whole process into small processes, sub processes, and you can check simultaneously the effects of each and every processes simultaneously, and later on you can sum up and add to the bigger picture. So that way basically you have considerable amount of time to check and balance the whole sub processes to get the desired results. So there's the reason it's called sprint cycles, small cycles. You don't have to wait like project management activities. You are waiting for the whole activity to complete, then you will come to know, okay, this was the problem. Again, you have to go back, you have to recreate it, where the problem has cropped up. Means it is basically consuming your additional time. And though after so much of investment of your time, that it is not guaranteed that you are reaching the correct solution or you are actually getting the correct root cause. But in design thinking, it is an iteration process, which is a continual process. As I said, from any of the steps, 5 steps, you can move to any step, backward, forward, both at any point of time. So you are actually investing less time, you are getting more or less accurate results, and in between, you also have the options to improve upon. Or you can just say that this sub process is hindering other processes, so you can also remove that sub process when you break down into small activities. So it is quite important as compared to other activity. One of the activity like waterfall, for the big industries to become agile, because nowadays if you are not agile, not flexible, then obviously the business cannot survive. So we have to be agile, we have to be flexible, we have to adapt to the change faster. We have to understand the need of the customers on real time basis and also respond on the real time basis, so that our competitors cannot capture our market and we have an edge over our competitors. So this technology method called design thinking is very much effective in this regard, because it not only take cares of the customers but also take cares of the organization and its internal stakeholders, team members, and it is less costlier than other methodologies, and its results are also accurate because, as I said, the method is structured and is based on the scientific principles.
Uh, Good. Possibly, please share your questions. Nishikant, Vikrant, I can see Sagar, Shweta. If you have any question, friends, please unmute yourself and ask the question. Sir, meanwhile, can you please share you use one word in your presentation, PUCA. So can you please share what is VUCA?
The BUCA is basically an acronym which came into picture during pandemic. But this is not a new acronym. It is happening every time since the civilization existed, where V stands for volatile, U for uncertain, C for complex, and A for ambiguity. Okay. So it means we are actually in a situation where everything is volatile, where everything is uncertain. Uncertainty is not a new principle. It was a principle very old, like one principle called Heisenberg's principles of uncertainty, isn't it?
Right.
So it is a scientific term, and due to this, we are actually going through probability and statistics in mathematics. So where we can just have a like we have assumptions, we have hypotheses to reach to a solutions which might be conforming to my hypothesis. So design thinking also is based on hypothesis, or you can say in simple term pre-assumptions. Okay, like in mathematics, we assume for any equation we start with let x is equal to something, or let the total number of problem is x. So we start with a hypothesis, and in between we try to solve with the available informations or available parameters, and later on what we say, hence proved. Or the answer is this. So it all starts with assumptions, and we use that as a hypothesis. We try to get all the details from the market. We try to put into that particular problem for as a solution, and later on, if it is gets solved, then we say that my hypothesis was true or it is true, which is very much equal to like while doing our doctoral studies. We always start with hypothesis, and then we do the literature review, we do the field study, then we make some solutions to it with mathematical modeling, or if it is not mathematical, then we used to go for some qualifying parameters. We put into it again. We go for the testing with the in the market to get the customer perception or customers experience. And if it is proving to it, then we say, okay, my hypothesis is proved, so this is my thesis for one which one gets a doctoral degree. The same thing we are applying in business, which is through design thinking. Nothing new, nothing old. It is all prevalent. So VUCA is basically the situation analysis, whether your situation is volatile, whether your dealing situation is uncertain, or you are dealing a complex situations, or you are dealing a situation which is totally ambiguous. We don't know. So all four combines to a acronym called VUCA, VUCA. So design thinking basically takes care of VUCA through hypothesis, which is scientifically driven. So any science and non-science background students or professional can use this simple method. It's very, very simple to use. No mathematical equations or no mathematical calculations are required.
Friends, do you have any question, or shall we close? Any question? Then please raise your hand. Okay, sir. Okay, Dr. Pandar, sir, for sharing your precious, you share your thoughts on precious topic. So we are all delighted to have you on this panel. Thank you so much. Big round of applause for him.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Admin, please share feedback form, attendance form to the audience.